Hey guys, how you doing? This is Manga section. I'm here today to bring the review for My Hero Academia episode 42. Now, this was a good episode, don't get it twisted. I'm not trying to knock on this episode, but if you really deep it, nothing much happened within this episode. All that happens is that basically all the heroes and all the pro heroes, I mean not the class heroes, people heroes and all the pro heroes, they now know about the emergency going on. They know that villains are on site and they're just trying to deal with the situation. They're telling the class heroes, you know, to just get to safety, don't engage no villains, leave that to the pro heroes. That's what's happening with them. And we have, like, you know, the people saying, yeah, I'm not gonna really listen, I'm a hero in training, I gotta do what I gotta do, kind of thing. And I really liked seeing that from the metal guy. I can't remember the names, I'm not very good at names, but the metal guy, we have a little speech from him when he's saying, class A has got this on us, we need to rise to the occasion as well, otherwise class A is just going to end up ahead of us, and you know, we're just going to be all left in the shadows and we might not become the heroes that we want to be. That was one thing about this episode that I did like, and it was nice to see. So yeah, you go metal guy, you do you in this episode. So that's one thing that I liked about the episode. So we saw that Eraserhead took off the people who need additional help, and just basically in the episode, they're left in the room with a pro hero. They're told not to participate. Being manga reader, I know where this is heading. So a question for you guys is, like, do you think they will get involved within this arc, or do you think they've been shelved? So just a little bit after that happened, we see Eraserhead. He heads outside, and now he gets blasted by some dude with some firepower. And now another question for anime only watchers, if I got any who watch my reviews, do you think Eraserhead is done, or do you think he's got some more to bring? So that happened early on in the episode, and so like I said, the majority, not the majority, episode really focused on everybody knowing that there's villains on site and them being told what to do and them deciding what they're going to do. But the majority of the episode is spent on Deku, because we know that one of the pro heroes is related to that little kid who's named Kota. We know that one of the pro heroes is related to Kota, and we know that she was worried about Kota and she wanted to make sure that he's safe. And we know that Deku thought, well, he did know. Deku knew where he was going to be, so she kind of depended on Deku to go find him to get him saved. So this led to a fight which took up the majority of the episode. Deku versus Muscle Guy. I can't remember his name, so I'm going to call him Muscle Guy. And they basically have similar quirks where they use their quirks to power themselves up further. We start the fight off with this Muscle Guy just really playing with Deku, and then as the fight goes on, as he starts to get more serious, we realize that even with Deku is no match. Basically, Deku is no match. And the thing that I really liked about this episode and this fight is it's just basically Deku. It's basically Deku. I like Deku really much as a character. I've said it before. I'm pretty sure I've said it before in season 2 when I reviewed it. Pretty sure I've said it in my manga reviews as well. Deku is not your typical shonen main character where he's simple-minded or dumb, whichever way you want to say it. I pretty much go for simple-minded, but they excel at fighting. Goku has this trait, Luffy has this trait, Naruto has this trait to some degree. Deku's not like that, and we see that within this episode, and I really like it as well. He's always got that hero mentality. Always got that hero mentality. He's smart. He's smart as well. We see him in a dire situation within this episode, and he's thinking, okay, my phone's broken, I can't contact no one, I'm gonna have to stay and fight, can't run, blah 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 blah. We see him calculating within this episode, and that is one thing that I like about Deku so much. One thing that does worry me about Deku is how, yes, he has this mentality, yes, he thinks for the now, but he doesn't think for the future. And why I'm saying this is because the damage that he is doing to his body, and we don't have that nurse to heal him no more. She said, "No, I'm not doing it no more." I hope that's happened. I hope we've got that far in. But yeah, she said, "No, I'm not doing it no more." And so yeah, so all this accumulating damage, it just makes you think, ooh, are you even gonna make it to the end of your series, bro? Kind of thing. But what was I getting at? I just like Deku as a character because he's smart, but I'm also worried about him because he goes over what his body can handle, and that's doing some serious damage towards his body. Stuff that he eventually, if it continues, he won't be able to heal from. Um, and that just leads me to possibly the last point. Oh no, that's a lie. But yeah, I just want to talk about the whole end of the episode where the 1,000,000% one for all, yeah, one for all, 1,000,000% one for all, and at base value, at initial reaction, like, yeah, that's hype, yeah, that's hype. But when you deep it, does it make sense? Does it really make sense? 1,000,000%. First of all, you can only go to 100%. But anyway, it doesn't make sense from a name standpoint, because if you think about it, oh yeah, 1,000,000%, okay, how does that work? And the way they depict it makes it seem like how, at least this is what I think from the way they depict it, up to 100% was just Deku tapping into All Might's power. But when you get to 1,000,000%, especially when we see the you know what I'm talking about, when we see that, it makes you think, okay, maybe he's tapping into other generations of other power that is all dormant within inside him, and then that would make sense. It just doesn't make sense from a name standpoint. I might be wrong about that. I could be right. If you got your own opinions on that, please let me know. But I'm just saying it doesn't make sense. And I'm also going to ask you, anime only watchers, Muscle Guy took that bang. Do you think he's out for the count, or do you think he's getting back up? Let me know. The last thing that I want to mention about this episode is what the muscle guy said to Deku. He says to Deku, "Where's Baku? Where's Baku?" So that's again a question for you, anime only watchers. Do you think that he wants Baku? Because I can't remember if it was mentioned within the episode, and I could potentially spoil a whole lot of Tish right now. So, do you think the muscle guy wanted Baku for personal reason, or do you think the League of Villains is after Baku? And if you think either, why do you think that is so? What do you think the plans are going on there? That's how I'm going to leave you guys. I also want to quickly just talk about Kota's involvement within this episode. So the first thing I want to mention is that how pretty convenient that the one villain to end up with Kota just so happened to be the one that killed his mum and dad. He knew about this from the news report, so he knew from. So as soon as he saw the face of this villain, as soon as he saw the face of this villain, he knew, and then he obviously got scared from that from there. And then we've known that how Kota. This is another thing to have come across within this episode. We know that Kota doesn't like heroes, doesn't like quirk society. But we also see within this episode that I think it's his cousin, the relative, whatever relations they have. She told him that one day someone will come around and save you, and he didn't really believe this. And we see within this episode that it seems like Deku is fulfilling this role within him. The last thing I want you to say is about him having a quirk, possibly the same quirk of either his mom or dad. They were known. I can't remember who was known as water hose, but one of them was known as water hose. So obviously a water quirk, that makes sense. I'm pretty sure it was said last episode that he's quirkless. So this would make, if I'm not mistaken, and it did say that, then this would make him a late bloomer. And yeah, that's just everything I want to say about Goto and within this episode. I thought I'd throw in there as well. So Deku saved Kota, at least in the mental state, but can he do it in the physical state? Can you get them out of this situation? Like I said, not much happened within the episode, but still a good episode. For me personally, the fight, when you look at the fight scenes, the fight choreography, not that great. But when you know the meaning behind the fight, Deku trying to be a hero, Deku realizing he might not be strong enough to be able to beat this guy, but still giving it all, still trying to live up to the hero that he wants to be. The meaning behind the fight is what makes that fight good. But the fight choreography itself was meh. I'm going to leave it at that. 3-star rating, call it review. Like always, guys, I'm asking for your thoughts and opinions. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. But most importantly, take care. Have a nice day.